We created high-quality candles inspired by some of your favorite films. We have scents like Arctic Isolation, inspired by John Carpenter's The Thing. Haunted Hotel, inspired by Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. The Arctic Isolation and Haunted Hotel candles are the most popular. They actually sold out, but we restocked everything. So be sure to keep checking in on the store, moviecandles.etsy.com. I'm very happy with the sales we've been getting. We're all really proud of the product and the store. We've been getting great reviews online, so thank you so much for that support. That's it, thank you. Hi everyone, welcome to the annual, the annual best and worst films list. I'm going to go through my top 20 films of 2024, followed by everything else I saw. Some people count different movies for different years because of film festivals, and I know my video's a little late, but I've watched a lot of movies, and I've watched a lot of good ones. I've been watching movies non-stop. I just watched one this morning because I want the list to be very thorough. And this is all the stuff I'm interested in. A couple things I missed, but what are you gonna do? I'll find time in the future to watch it. Maybe I'll cover them if I really like the movie. I've been living in last year for like the past few months. Like I don't even know what's going on in the real world right now. A Minecraft movie came out. Apparently, I played Minecraft when I was 12 years old. They made a movie out of that, and people are screaming at the top of their lungs like in the theater and getting kicked out and getting the police called on them, and they throw popcorn everywhere that like theater employees have to clean up. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? As usual, people always say, last year was a terrible year for movies. 2024 was a terrible year for movies. Movies now suck. There's so many great 2024 films. Making a list of 20 was hard because I feel I left like a lot of great movies out. But that being said, the ones I included are ones that I really enjoyed. Didi. In 2008, during the last month of summer before high school begins, we follow a 13-year-old Taiwanese American boy as he navigates growing up. This is a relatable, funny film that you should definitely watch. My short review covers a lot of my points, but yeah, this is an underrated one from 2024. The child performances are all solid. One of my favorites of the year. Number 19 is Better Man. Better Man is a biopic about British pop star Robbie Williams, chronicling his rise to fame and his personal struggles, all told from his perspective. This film completely blew me away in terms of like my expectations. This film was awesome. It was visually stunning. It had great CGI, especially the monkey. This film feels like a very honest look at what pop stardom is like, and especially what boy bands were like. I guess that's probably why they're not popular anymore, because there is a lot of abuse that goes on. This film touches on it quite a lot, and it's pretty dark, but also it feels very honest. Unlike, bloated films like Bohemian Rhapsody, it doesn't shy away from the gritty reality of like that kind of person and what they go through in terms of like the drug addiction. It's very like intense, but it hits like all the right notes. It portrays the highs and the lows of being famous in a very raw and also a very relatable way. The musical numbers in this film are very well choreographed, and the songs, especially Angels, hit the mark. They're really good. This is the largest film ever produced in Victoria, Australia. It's injected over $140 million into the local economy. This is a big film with a big heart, and it absolutely delivers. I'm loving Angels instead. Problemista. The story follows Alejandro, an aspiring toy designer from El Salvador, struggling to bring his ideas to life in New York. Tilda Swinton is great in this movie. She is very funny. I enjoyed the performance from the lead as well, Julio Torres, who is also the writer and director. It's a sort of surreal comedy about how immigrants are treated like shit in America and how they have to fight their way for everything. And yeah, it's great. It's really funny. It's got a great sense of humor. Tilda Swinton in the film is phenomenal. Great performance from her. Yeah, I definitely really liked it. The Substance. Demi Moore stars as Elizabeth Sparkle, a fading celebrity who takes a black market drug that generates a younger, idealized version of herself, played by Margaret Qualley. This film is an insane ride from start to finish. It's grotesque, it's hyper real. It's like a big piece of pop art. It's just like it's like a big fucking like montage, but in like the best possible way. It constantly has energy. Everything looks great. The colors are super saturated, but it looks excellent. It's not like an eyesore. Both Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley give career-defining performances. Daring, disturbingly fun film that pushes boundaries and feels genuinely fresh and new. Queer, directed by Luca Guadagnino, who is one of my favorite directors. It's based on a novel by William S. Burroughs. The film is set in South America during the mid-20th century and follows Lee, played by Daniel Craig. He becomes infatuated with this young man, played by Drew Starkey, and their complicated relationship unfolds against a backdrop of psychedelic dream sequences. It's a strange film, it's trippy, and it's very emotionally resonant. It blends all of Guadagnino's best qualities. It blends the kind of surreal imagery of Suspiria and that also very emotional story of something like Call Me By Your Name or even Bones and All. It feels very raw and real. It's crazy, like the kind of range Luca Guadagnino has as a director. Daniel Craig gives a very vulnerable performance. It's not a crowd pleaser. It's definitely more introspective than something like Challengers, but it has some very striking sequences and soundtrack choices. The soundtrack for this movie is awesome. It's a great movie about queerness. I'm not gay, but it's a very interesting movie about that. I watched it at New York Film Festival. And yeah, gay sex scenes all up on the screen. Is all we all are. All in all is all we are. Rebel Ridge, directed by Jeremy Saulnier. It follows Terry Richmond, a Marine veteran who returns to his hometown in Louisiana to bail out his cousin and start a new life. But after he's stopped by a couple of cops and the bail money is stolen, things quickly spiral out of control. I really like this director. I like his, of course, Green Room, which I rewatched recently. That film is fantastic. It's really grown on me. It's a film that I remember, and it was great rewatching it again. And of course, Blue Ruin. I watched Jeremy Saulnier's season of True Detective. He directed the 3rd season. I don't know if he directed every episode, but I think he directed a lot of them. And yeah, he's just a solid director. Like, I have a lot of respect for him. I like his stuff. It's very dark. It's very like crime oriented, and the twist of this film I don't want to give away where it goes, but it's cool. It's not as violent as a film like Green Room, which had like it's almost a horror film. It's an action film for sure. It reminded me of something like First Blood, but it takes like its own spin on it, and it's very cool. Don Johnson is fantastic in this film. Aaron Pierre stands out. His performance is very captivating. He's set to play Jon Stewart in some Green Lantern series that's upcoming. He seems like a Green Lantern Jon Stewart type, you know, not the news commentator, comedian guy. That's what I was thinking. I think I thought that while I was watching it. I'm like, this guy could probably play like Green Lantern or something. The Apprentice, the story of a young Donald Trump eager to step out of his father's shadow in 1970s New York. He falls under the influence of an infamous lawyer named Roy Cohn. The Apprentice is actually a surprisingly even-handed and restrained film, examining the formative years of a very polarizing figure. Rather than leaning into a caricature, focuses on humanizing Trump, showing you his ambitions, his insecurities, how he's transformed under that tutelage of Roy Cohn. The portrayal of Roy Cohn is particularly compelling. Jeremy Strong in this movie is great, and he doesn't just play him as a boogeyman. He plays him with a lot of sympathy, and he's very complex, and you start to feel for him, especially toward the end of his life. The portrayal of Trump by Sebastian Stan is also really great. You know, he makes you like Trump a lot in this movie. The film just refuses to be a overt political stance about him, and it refuses to just judge him at all. It just kind of shows you these things that happened in his life, a lot of which are very true and are presented in a very believable way. The film is in a bit of a no man's land in terms of who the audience is for it. There are a lot of people who are just turned off from Trump in general and don't want to watch anything about him and don't want to acknowledge that he exists. And then there are fans of his who will not watch the movie because they don't want to watch anything that's critical of Trump in any sort of capacity, which this film is to some extent. So it's just in this weird place where no one wants to watch it, and it definitely deserves a spot on my list. And it's a very important movie that I think everyone should watch. Especially the fact that people don't want to watch it. That should make you want to watch it more. For those willing to engage with this movie, it's sharp, it's well acted, it's well written.
Let's make America great again.
Well, I like the again part.
La Chimera. I covered this in a video, in a short review I posted on my channel, but just to give a brief summary, set in Italy, La Chimera follows Arthur, a British archaeologist, who is also a grave robber or tumoroli. He's following a bunch of other grave robbers and he's struggling with, the loss of his love. The film also features a stellar supporting cast, including Isabella Rossellini. Definitely see it. I highly recommend it. Sing Sing. Based on a true story, Sing Sing follows a wrongfully convicted man who finds purpose and connection through a theater program in his prison. When a newcomer joins, both men undergo a transformative journey. This is a very uplifting film about the healing power of art. This film used real prisoners in the cast, or real, prisoners who were in theater programs, at least in the past. And I think that extra details what sets it apart. It makes it feel so real and powerful. In that really dark place, these characters manage to find the creativity, the fun, the passion in their situation. And that's like so powerful in a story. Kind of got overlooked, I think, because there's so much great stuff from that year, but this is a tremendous film. It's got some of the best performances of the year. Coleman Domingo is just excellent in this movie. Definitely check this one out. Civil War. This is the biggest budget A24 film, I think. The film follows an alternate reality United States gripped by civil war. Meanwhile, a group of war journalists travel from New York City to Washington, D.C., hoping to interview the president before the rebel forces take over the White House. Civil War is without a doubt one of the most intense action films, not just of this year, but of this fucking decade. The decision to follow war journalists really grounded the entire film and made it feel believable and realistic. In a real war situation, we would be seeing a lot of these things through journalists and through the photos and the videos that they take. Alex Garland, who is one of my favorite writers and directors working today, handles the political elements with nuance. The president in this film may share traits with certain real-world politicians, but he's not a clear-cut surrogate for one politician. It's his own character. This film is creating its own world. I'm a big fan of Alex Garland's work. Can't wait for 28 years later.
God bless America.
Nickel Boys, based on Colson Whitehead's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, tells the harrowing story of Elwood and Turner, two black men navigating the horrors of Nickel Academy, a Jim Crow-era reform school. This is a powerful adaptation of all too real and very recent history, all things considered. Hamish Linklater is an actor I really like. He gives a very good performance in this movie, and he plays a disturbing character, very similar to 12 Years a Slave and the character Michael Fassbender played in that film. The depiction of the lifestyle inside the school is just disturbing. A sobering movie, an important movie. It reminded me of the film 12 Years a Slave and just kind of the same emotions I felt from that film. Stylistically, it's very well done. I like the first-person perspective this film is told in, which takes a while to get used to, but I think it works really well in this film, actually. It made it incredibly unique. A Different Man. It's about an aspiring actor struggling with facial disfigurement. And this film is basically about him getting his dream face that he's always longed for. But after he transforms himself, he's still the same socially awkward man, just with a new face. The film shows how narrow-minded our view of ourselves and others can be when we fixate on just our appearance. Not to give too much away, but he meets other characters who are very comfortable with their condition. And there's a scene where he's watching this, person who he thinks is like him, and he's watching other people look at this person. And it's the first time he kind of sees himself outside of himself. It's just about your perception and your worldview and how you choose to look at it. Are you going to make the most of it? Sebastian Stan and Adam Pearson are great in this movie. Adam Pearson, he's famous for Under the Skin, which is one of my favorite movies. Fucking watch it. Go watch it. One of the best of the year. I saw the TV glow. Two alienated teenagers form a deep bond over their favorite late-night TV show, The Pink Opaque. As they get older, their attachment to the program begins to distort their perception of reality. One of the most unique and vital films I've seen in the last year, I Saw the TV Glow is a deeply personal, trans-centered psychological horror film that has lingered in my mind ever since I've seen it. The soundtrack for this film is fantastic, especially that one track that goes, that was a good one. And it's one of 2024's most resonant and affecting independent films. Challengers from Luca Guadagnino. Challengers tells the story of a love triangle set in the competitive world of professional tennis with a pulsing score from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. The film captures the intensity of sports and also the emotion between these characters. It's a powerful and stylish drama that deserves more recognition. It's really well made. It's got such a great pace and energy to it. I can't see anyone watching it and not finding it entertaining. Josh O'Connor, Mike Feist are great in this movie, but Zendaya, I think she really knocked it out of the park, honestly. I thought Zendaya was fantastic in this movie. I think it's one of her best, if not her best performance. Her working with a director like Luca Guadagnino, who's such a great director, not just visually, but also with actors. Noseferatu. So this film is about a young land clerk who is sent to a remote castle and falls prey to the sinister Count Orlok, who is actually a vampire, who wants to steal away his wife, who he has been haunting in her dreams. Very creepy story. It's a Robert Eggers film, the director of The Witch, The Lighthouse, and The Northman, all excellent films, and this is one of his best. He injects it with this modern sensibility and makes the story way more digestible for a modern audience who probably can't even watch or understand the original one. And it's a great movie. It's full of terrific performances. Lily Rose Depp was great in this movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson was good. Nicholas Hoult was great. And of course, Willem Dafoe was fantastic. Ralph Ineson. It's eerie, visually stunning, and completely immersive. And it's a perfect example of how to remake a horror classic without losing the soul of the original. Number 5 is Dune Part 2. Ladies and gentlemen of the Gallery Gourmet, I am
Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, Duke of Arrakis.
I love that edit. Whoever the fuck made that's fucking hilarious. I love that. Dune Part 2 continues the story of Paul Atreides, who unites with Chani and the Fremen to seek revenge on Baron Harkonnen, who killed his father. Denis Villeneuve delivers another awesome film, a sci-fi epic that builds on the first film and basically delivers a better experience in every way. It's masterfully directed, visually breathtaking, and is rich with world building. The score by Hans Zimmer is phenomenal, grander, and more memorable than the first. The first film was all setup, and this is all payoff, and it's spectacular payoff, and every minute of it was engaging. I'm looking forward to Dune Messiah. I don't think it'll top this film, but that's what I said about the last movie. I'm like, I don't think Dune 2 will top Dune 1. It just holds a really ambitious novel, didn't get too full of itself or full of shit. It's trying to make a new franchise again, and people should be more excited about it. It's fantastic for what it is. It looks incredible. You know, the visual effects are stunning. It's blockbuster filmmaking at its finest. Number 4 is Furiosa. A young Furiosa is kidnapped by a bike horde led by Warlord Dementis. Caught in a war between him and Immortan Joe, she must endure a series of trials to reclaim her freedom. Furiosa is pure, unfiltered spectacle. Visually explosive, absolutely jaw-dropping set pieces, inventive action choreography, and it's a thrilling addition to the Mad Max universe. George Miller has an eye and just an amazing imagination. It just comes through on screen. I gave a review on this film already. I kind of said everything I needed to say, but yeah, it looks fantastic. Like the long take of the camera floating up into the air, like that's fucking crazy. Cherry on top, it goes across, pans like left, and then it goes behind the other guy on the left side. Visually epic, great performance from Chris Hemsworth, brilliantly directed and a lot of fun. This film is super entertaining. I highly recommend Furiosa. You know, it wasn't gonna top Fury Road. I don't think it was trying to. I don't think anything is. You know, I saw this film 3 times in theaters, basically just to watch that middle action scene. But I also enjoyed the whole movie. You know, it's a fantastic, entertaining movie that you want to live in. It's so much fun. Number 3 is Kinds of Kindness, a series of surreal short stories, each exploring themes of submission, control, faith, and identity, all directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. Each story features recurring cast members in new roles, and stars Jesse Plemons, Emma Stone, Margaret Qualley, and Willem Dafoe. As someone who loves short format stuff, and I just directed a short film that screened in a film festival last year, Yorgos telling 3 short stories. It was different, it was fresh, and each of the short stories were really good. I don't really prefer any one to the other. They were all, you know, great short stories. Yorgos Lanthimos always fucking tops himself in terms of making a movie where you watch it and you go like, what the fuck was that? This film is bizarre, unsettling, hilarious, and it's not like Poor Things where it's like accessible and it's gonna get all the Oscars or whatever. It's not that kind of film, because it's like way more unhinged. It's like really unhinged and crazy. I think that's what makes Yorgos Lanthimos one of the best auteurs working today. He's a true director, true pioneer of cinema, and I love all of his films, and I will continue to watch all of them. Good shit. Number 2 is The Brutalist. The film follows an architect fleeing from post-war Europe to start a new life in America. The Brutalist is a sweeping epic about art, immigration, class, and family that goes across borders and generations. I had the privilege of seeing this film in beautiful 70mm. Absolutely the best way to experience it. If you ever get a chance to see it that way, I highly recommend you do so. The cinematography for this film is stunning. The opening credits for the film alone are a masterclass in atmosphere. While some controversy surrounds the very limited use of AI for this film, particularly for like the language dubbing for Adrian Brody, the outrage is a little bit overblown compared to other films that use AI irresponsibly. Emilia Perez. You know, like, we should remain cautious of AI in film, but I wouldn't die on this hill either. Ultimately, The Brutalist is one of the year's best films. It's gripping, emotional, it's visually exquisite, and it remains a very bold statement. It's very interesting the film was divided into these 2 halves. After the intermission, the film got very crazy. It got like really like, what the fuck am I watching at that point? Number 1 is Anora. Anora follows a young stripper from Brooklyn who impulsively marries the son of a Russian oligarch. Their fairy tale is disrupted as his powerful parents travel to New York in an attempt to annul their marriage. Visually striking, sharply written. Mickey Madsen is great in this movie. She delivers an outstanding performance full of nuance and charisma. You really like her character, and you really feel bad for her when things don't go her way. The film is raw, funny, it's alive with energy. This is Sean Baker at his peak. I'm glad Anora won Best Picture. It was definitely the safe pick, but ultimately, you know, I chose it for like my number 1 too, because I really do love the film and I appreciate Sean Baker. It's gratifying to see a director when you follow their work for years and you admire. When they reach such heights, you're like, that's great. It will likely remain one of my favorite films of the decade, and this is one, like, everyone who watches it just loves it. They think it's great. I don't know anyone who doesn't think it's a great movie, you know? Everyone would probably agree it's, like, the best movie of the year. It's excellent. I loved it. So that's part one. Now we can move on to the rest of the movies. Number 21 is Hard Truths. I cut out a whole section by accident where I talked about this film, but let me just get through what I have to say about it quick. It's about a depressed woman named Pansy who's struggling to reconnect with her sister after the anniversary of their mother's death. Marianne Jean-Baptiste is phenomenal in this film as Pansy, a deeply bitter and hilarious character. Michelle Austin delivers a great performance as her exasperated sister. I probably would have put it at 20. It was between Didi and Hard Truths. Whatever, they're both great movies. That's why best of lists are stupid. A Real Pain. I forgot to mention this one in my initial recording, but yeah, great performance from Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin. Explores the Holocaust in a very tasteful way. It didn't distract from the tone of the film, and it didn't take away from the comedy. Heretic, Hugh Grant's great. It, tackles these subjects of, like, religion and stuff like that, Mormonism, in an interesting way. I did see Book of Mormon, the play, so I did like that Book of Mormon joke in the film. The Order, starring Jude Law, Ty Sheridan, and of course Nicholas Hoult, and the film is set in the 1980s, and it follows an FBI agent played by Jude Law investigating a white supremacist group in the United States. It's based on true events, and the film presents a pretty chilling portrayal of that subject matter, and Jude Law is excellent, and Nicholas Hoult gives one of the best performances like I've seen from him in a while. Definitely a better role for him than Renfield. Yeah, he's great in this movie. Very, like, disturbed and dark character, terrifying. You understand him to some extent, which you want in, like, your villain for a film. The shootouts in this movie are super realistic and intense. Flow. This is an animated film from a very small team of French animators, and it won the Oscar for Best Animated Film. The animals don't speak. They don't talk like you might expect in, like, a traditional animated movie. They act like real animals. So if the cat's scared, it acts like a scaredy cat. But I actually like that quality about the movie. Like, the dogs just act like dogs, and, it made, like, the animalistic part of the characters come out more and be more present, because they couldn't rely on dialogue and stuff like that to convey how the characters were feeling. And yeah, it's very interesting. I liked how they told the story. Baby Girl, really well made film. I liked the score for the film. It looked great. Nicole Kidman is great in the movie. Antonio Banderas gives a really awesome performance in the film. I thought he was fantastic. Harris Dickinson is his name. He's from Triangle of Sadness. Yeah, I enjoyed his performance as well. I don't know why this one is such a low rating on Letterboxd. I think it'll go up, because this is a good film. Oh, Canada. This is a bit of a hard film to digest. I saw it at New York Film Festival. I like it more and more as it sits with me. It tells the story of this guy's life in an interesting way, and it parallels kind of the end of his life with the freedom of him letting go of his past when he was, like, a younger man, like leaving home when he was young and leaving his, like, life behind. Pretty deep shit, Conclave. Well made, not many good movies about this subject matter, priests in the Vatican. Not many that I've seen anyway. Maybe some of you can give me some recommendations. Throw some recs in the comment section for me. But yeah, Ray Fiennes is great in this movie. Very strong supporting cast. Isabella Rossellini, Stanley Tucci, Jonathan Lithgow. Fallen Leaves. It's just about, like, these two lonely people who kind of meet each other at a karaoke bar and build a relationship. It had a very dry sense of humor, and it was very small scale. It's a good film. It's a great drama. I like the characters. Drive Away Dolls. I think I cut this out by accident too. I thought this film was funny. It's clearly not something that everyone likes. It's a Coen Brothers movie, so of course it's got a great cast. I don't get why people are so sour on this one. Presence. I wasn't in love with this film, although it is Soderbergh. I prefer Black Bag. To me, this film has an interesting concept of being told from the point of view of his spirit, almost like Enter the Void, which is one of my favorite movies, actually. Same director and same writer as Black Bag, by the way, this movie. But the worst part of the film for me were just, like, some of the performances. Overall, it's a good horror movie. I may even raise my rating for it. Maybe I'm being too harsh on this film, but I don't know. I was just like, it was okay. It wasn't, like, my favorite. It's cool to see that Soderbergh can kind of work outside of the same genre. Because, like, Black Bag is definitely a Soderbergh, what you expect a Soderbergh movie to be. And then this film Presence is, like, more experimental, which he also makes experimental films, and he's good at that. Juror number 2, very good Clint Eastwood movie. Surprising, right? Clint Eastwood made a good movie. This is definitely better than 1517 in Paris, right? Like, something like that movie's fucking terrible. This movie is like a real movie. Like, some of Clint Eastwood's movies, like Richard Jewell, I think that got more like consideration than this film. And this film's like much better than anything he's made in years. Like, this is by far the best Clint Eastwood movie I've seen from him in a while. Nicholas Hoult gives a really good performance in it. It's a little corny, but I don't know. I thought it was solid overall. Alien Romulus. To me, this is an awesome sci-fi action horror film. Kaylee Spaney's great. I do get the controversy with Ian Holmes' likeness in the movie. That was the worst part of the film for me as well, was that. Aside from that, though, this is like a great sci-fi action, big budget spectacle movie. It's cool. It has great effects, and it's really well done. Inside Out 2, it had good animation. It is kind of more of the same. I really like some of the new characters, like the anxiety character and the look of her. The performance from Maya Hawke was great. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. Aardman always do such an excellent job with their animated films. Very funny. I love the return of Feathers McGraw. I'm sure everyone does. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So, I just don't think it was like a memorable film, ultimately. It looks beautiful, but the story is just kind of generic, and it didn't stick with me like the previous films did. It's like they just really want to keep this franchise going. I really preferred the story with Caesar and all that. Definitely the CGI is, great in these Planet of the Apes movies. Things like fire and water, those are things that are really hard to do in CGI, and now they've just managed to do those things in this Planet of the Apes movie. Like, the water looks real. The fire and the way the fire lights the characters looks real. Maybe it should have won the best visual effects Oscar over Dune 2. I think Dune 2 is a better movie, of course, but as far as just like visual effects, this Planet of the Apes stuff, it's like mostly CGI, and it's really ambitious stuff, like like a character that's a human being carried by an ape. Like, stuff like that is so difficult because it's hard to animate the human on top of the ape and make it look real. Like, the Avengers movies, they look great. Like, there's a lot of CGI in those, and like, I appreciate all the work that like those visual effects artists put into that. They spend like $300 million on like the effects in those movies, right? And then they cut to like Robert Downey Jr.'s head on the Iron Man suit, and it looks like fucking green screen. Like, it looks so fake. Mark Ruffalo in like the Hulkbuster suit, like, it looks like cropped someone in there, and it just looks green screen or whatever. And this movie doesn't have like any of those fucking problems, really. It's just like, it's so meticulous, and you can't help but admire the craft of it, even if the story doesn't hit as hard as like the other films did. It's The Wild Robot. It's better than Kung Fu Panda 4, which we'll get into. It's a little over the top, maybe. I prefer the approach of flow in that way. This is more of a conventional movie, and it's from the director of How to Train Your Dragon. It's not as good of a film as that, but it has those emotional beats that you expect from like How to Train Your Dragon, and it handles like the emotional stuff quite well. The story and the themes of motherhood and letting go of your child. The story does get kind of muddled at some point. I basically thought the film was over, and then it goes on with like the robot's son migrating and coming across this futuristic civilization where they have robots, and they're all like the main robot in the movie, and they introduced this villain pretty late in the movie, played by Stephanie Hsu, who's from Everything Everywhere All at Once. But yeah, overall, this isn't a bad animated film at all. It's fun. It's got really nice animation. I thought it looked beautiful. And yeah, I'd say if you're a fan of animated films, this is definitely a good one. Transformers 1, not Transformers 1, Transformers 1. This is the best Transformers film, better than all the Michael Bay films, because there's like some good characters, and the fact that it was set on Cybertron, I think, appeased Transformers fans a bit more. I think that's what they want. I don't think they want to see like the humans on Earth and Shia LaBeouf. I don't think that's particularly compelling. There was no teaser at the end that teased G.I. Joe appearing though. That was G.I. Joe. That was one of the funniest parts of Transformers Rise of the Beasts was the ending. Smile 2. Pretty creative set pieces in there. Like Naomi Scott is great in this movie. Like she gives a really great performance. Yeah, overall I thought it was a lot of fun. I like that creepy scene where like the stalker guy comes to her meet and greet thing. The thing about the small demon is once it picks you, you're just fucked. Like there's nothing you can do to stop it. It's like, yep, you're dead. Like that's it. In a violent nature, this is a very entertaining horror film. It had some great kills, and I very much enjoyed it. It's a tribute to kind of the Friday the 13th films and slasher films in general. But yeah, good stuff. Longlegs. Wasn't in love with the film. Nicolas Cage's performance in this, though, is so funny. It's unreal. Micah Monroe is great in the movie. I watched this film with her recently called The Watcher. It's from a few years ago, but she's great in that. Of course, she's great in It Follows. And this movie, the movie itself, the story, it just didn't really grab me entirely. I thought it was okay. It's just like not one of the year's best films. I haven't seen the Monkey movie yet, which is the same director. The assessment. I just watched this film. I figured I'd just get my thoughts in here quick. This isn't a bad film, but it isn't great either. Some of the performances were solid, like Alicia Vikander, Elizabeth Olsen, and some interesting sci-fi concepts were explored. It goes a different direction than I was expecting, especially the ending, but overall, it could have been better. Next is Fall Guy. It didn't really stick with me. Some cool stunts in there, but yeah. It's a better Aaron Taylor Johnson role than Kraven. I watched this film so long ago. It was before Kraven even came out. Monkey Man. Some cool action scenes in there. It's not one of those that like really stuck with me, I think. Beetlejuice. I thought it was fun. It has some fun gags in there and makeup, and one of the better Tim Burton movies I've seen recently from him. Twisters, it's a well-made film. I talked about it in my summer roundup video or whatever it's called. I like the cast and I like the director. I think that definitely elevates it a little bit. But yeah, I don't know if I prefer it to the first. I probably prefer the first Twisters, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember anything really about the movie. This had some cool set pieces in it. Like some cool, like practical sets and stuff that look cool. Orion in the Dark. This is an animated film with Charlie Kaufman was involved in the writing process, and you can tell it deals with a lot of existential stuff, and it's pretty mature for like a kid's animated film. It's asking a lot, but it does have a really good ending. I actually really liked the ending of the film. I thought it was very interesting, and that's one that's like kind of stuck with me. Very Kaufman-esque. If you're a fan of Charlie Kaufman, you should probably watch it. Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, not great. My least favorite Deadpool. It's just kind of lacking in fun and like wit. It's like, all right, we mentioned the MCU stuff, and it kind of just falls flat compared to like what Spider-Man No Way Home and Avengers and Infinity War and Endgame did with like the MCU and all those characters. The tie-ins with Logan as well were just unnecessary. I actually agree with James Mangold there, I guess. They didn't have to mention Logan. Gladiator 2, Jesus Christ, I forgot I watched this movie. I forgot to even mention it when I recorded. Paul Mescal is really bland in the film. Denzel Washington is the best part. Overall, the film is very mediocre. A complete unknown, boring. Timothy Chalamet's fine. He's been better in other films, though. Monica Barbaro, she's great. She's really hot. But overall, kind of dull movie. Bob Dylan just doesn't have an interesting life. He didn't have an interesting story. Like, there's nothing about his story that's like, oh, you need to make a movie out of that, This movie's not about being interesting. It's about watching the guy perform on the same stage at the folk music festival for, like, fucking 90 minutes out of the 2.5 hour long movie. It's like half of the movie was literally them on the same fucking stage, like performing. I'm like, are we gonna like get off this stage at some point? It was so dull. I was like, what the fuck? This is so boring. Yeah, it's like it hurts. I rewatched Ford v Ferrari recently, and that movie's awesome. Yeah, it's fucking boring. Like, fucking gives a shit about Bob Dylan. His life. Fuck off. Like, you I don't know. Stop with these fucking biopics. They're all the same shit. It's all the same shit. They made the Amy Winehouse one. They made the fucking Bob Marley one. It's like, when are you gonna stop? Like, just stop. He's a genius. No one understands him. The Bob Dylan movie, A Complete Unknown, it ends with, you know, like a Rolling Stone and over the credits, and it has like the traditional thing you see at the end of the movie where it's like, in the end, Bob Dylan sold million records of this song, and he proved everyone wrong, everyone was a fucking idiot or whatever. And then, you know, the last thing it says, like, and then he won the Nobel Peace Prize or what, and he didn't attend the ceremony. That's what it says. He didn't attend the ceremony. It's like the last thing that comes up, fades in. He didn't attend the ceremony, like he's a fucking badass, you know. And I'm just like, and he didn't attend the ceremony. Oh, what a fucking boo. It's like trap. Look, I wasn't positive on it when I reviewed it. I said this movie is flawed as fuck. you know what you're getting into. It's M. Night Shyamalan, and yeah, it didn't stick with me. This film, there are positives for this film. I have positive points about it for sure. I'm not totally sour. At the same time, you know, it's not a great movie either. Like, Josh Hartnett's great. The film ultimately doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Like, you know, when you shine a magnifying glass on it, you're like, wait a minute, this movie doesn't make any sense at all. And yeah, I think it just went a little too much with like the concert scenes of her performing at the concert. It got a little boring. And then at some point, the focus of the story shifts away from being set in the concert, and to me, that was the most interesting part of the film. That was kind of the hook, and it does just kind of abandon that at some point. Bad Boys Ride or Die. It's so stupid, this stuff. It's like, Will Smith is so bad. It's too long. It's just like a bunch of gratuitous like action and shit that like doesn't make any sense, and you don't care about anything that's happening. It's like the fucking 5th movie. Kung Fu Panda 2. This was a big disappointment because I love the Kung Fu Panda movies. I love the first one, the second one. I even like the third one. Really, it's just a pointless film. Awkwafina voices one of the characters, overbearing, distracting. She just plays herself in every movie, you know? It's like you're not even putting on a performance or doing a voice. It's just Awkwafina acting annoying, and she honestly ruins the whole movie. The Beekeeper. It's pretty impressive Jason Statham can do the stunts he does at 56. There's a scene where Jason Statham is at a gas station and he's attacked by this woman. She looks like she's a comic book character. She looks ridiculous. But overall, the movie is kind of bland. Long stretches of the film lack action. There's so many lines in this movie about protecting the hive, and you gotta protect the hive and whatever. Yeah, I was just thinking of B-movie the whole time. Overall, this movie's dumb as shit. Blink twice. This movie blinked twice. This movie was just fucking stupid. It's just stupid. Like, I don't fucking give a shit about this movie at all. All right, it kind of reminded me of like, what's that Olivia Wilde movie? That was a total. Don't Worry, Darling. Yeah, that movie was a total piece of shit. It's like, you know, had a lot of resources and a lot went into it, but then the movie comes out, you're just like, ooh. I guess it's not that bad, Blink Twice, but it's just kind of like this. Like, all this shit happens. It's like all this style and shit, but it's like in service of nothing. You know? It's like in service of a big fart. Maybe I sound too general in my criticisms of the film, but yeah, I just didn't really find the film entertaining at all. Next is Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. Like, this movie, it's like so forgettable. It's like made to be forgotten. You know, it's like, it's got your money, and now you can like forget about the movie. They threw in every fucking cameo, and like this movie had like 100 characters in it. It was like way too much shit going on. It's pretty boring, and it's not like true to like the original Ghostbusters and what made that film funny and have the power, the lasting power that it does, right? And that's not even like a kids film necessarily, the original Ghostbusters. It's family friendly, kids like it, but the humor, it's dark. It's like a little more mature in the original Ghostbusters. At this new one, it just feels like a dumb kids movie. You know, it's like whatever. It's better than the Melissa McCarthy one, I guess. That's not a high bar though. That movie's like really bad. Maxxxine, I don't know what I was supposed to get out of this movie. I'm serious. Like, what was I supposed to get out of this movie? It's like, what the fuck is going on? There's like a million things happening and none of it like really matters. You know, it's not like in like I don't know, Under the Silver Lake where there's all this like all these threads and stuff, but it's a noir and you're trying to like figure it out, or there's at least like an end goal kind of where like we're trying to find the Riley Keough character that got, you know, she's missing, you know, that kind of thing. This movie's like, what the fuck is happening the whole time, you know? Like, a lot of good actors in here, and like Giancarlo Esposito, and it's like, you know, he's the best part of the movie probably, but you fucking wasted him. You fucking wasted everybody in this movie. It's the worst of any of those, like that trilogy, like the X-Pearl Maxxxine trilogy. Roadhouse. This is like a remake of a shitty action movie from the 80s, Patrick Swayze, and this movie's also shitty. Weird. The whole movie was weird, is like the best way to describe it. Here, this is a Robert Zemeckis movie. It's all set in one spot. The camera doesn't move, and you travel over thousands of years. You see like Native Americans living there, and then you see like pilgrims and shit. Fucking Benjamin Franklin lives across the street, and then you see like a modern day family, or not modern day, they like live in like the 1900s or whatever, and live their life. And then you see the 2000s, and like there's like you know, the whole movie, it's like so fucking corny, the whole thing, you know. It's so cool. It's not as bad as like some of Zemeckis' recent movies, but the whole thing is like so. It is kind of like a big like so what when it's over, you know, like all right, that wasn't like horrible, but what, like, it's kind of underwhelming. It doesn't really hit emotionally like I think it's trying to. It's very sappy. I think that's it. It's just trying to like make you cry the whole time. I don't know. This movie's not that good here. You shouldn't watch it. Venom: The Last Dance. So thank God this franchise is over, at least for now. The Venom movies ended the way they started, being total shit. They started out being total shit, and they ended as total shit. So you at least gotta admire the consistency. There are some great memes that came from this film. Next is Harold and the Purple Crayon. You know, I the only reason I'm not giving this a 1 star is because it's pretty harmless. You know, but it's a very bad movie. It's very badly made and stupid. It's just stupid. It's a stupid waste of time. Next is Megalopolis. So yeah, I'm not being mean. I'm not trying to be mean, but Francis Ford Coppola, it's just this movie. Come on, this is one of the worst movies of the year. It's such a massive failure. I have a lot of respect for Francis Ford Coppola. The Godfather 1 and 2 are some of my favorite films. It's a mess. It's a fucking mess. It doesn't feel finished. The acting is terrible. The CGI is bad. The cinematography is shocking how bad it is at times, which is, you know, it has the same DP as The Master, which that's insane. I'm glad I saw it in the theater with no distractions, because if I was watching this at home, I probably would have gotten so bored I would have gotten up and made a sandwich or something during it. So I can at least say I watched it in the theater and I sat through the whole thing, and I watched the whole thing, and I gave a very fair assessment of it, which is that it's a pretty shit movie, and you shouldn't watch it probably unless you're like morbidly curious about it. Madam Web. This film is horrible. I said more than enough about this film. It's kind of hard to believe it came out last year. It feels like so long ago, right? But yeah, it was the beginning of 2024. And I think next on the list, I might as well put Kraven, because, you know, they're both like the same level of shit. I actually think Kraven's worse, because at least Madam Web was funny. I fucking love the memes of Madam Web. He was with my mom in the Amazon researching spiders and blah, 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 whatever the fuck. It's got some corny shit from Russell Crowe, especially. I love Russell Crowe in the movies, probably my favorite part. Your mother is dead. She was weak. She killed herself. She was weak. But overall, this movie sucks. Like, Kraven, it just sucks. Aaron Taylor Johnson as the titular character, Kraven the Hunter. Man, he's just bland saltine cracker, man. That's all he is. You get nothing out of him. He's a fucking bland action hero. boring. It's fucking lame. It just doesn't hit any of the beats right that you expect from like an action movie. Like Furiosa and Civil War and those films did. It's not even a good superhero film. It's just bad. It's fucking terrible. And I'll probably do a full review of this one soon. I probably should. I was waiting for like the HD version of it to come out so I can use clips and stuff. Cause yeah, Argyle. I fucking hate this movie, Argyle. I can't believe I sat through this whole film, frankly. Like, I can't fucking believe it that I didn't walk out. Like, you have to be a really sadistic fuck to sit through this movie. It's horrible. It's really just fucking bad and one of the worst of the year. Only a couple of movies I would rank lower than this one. So yeah, A Family Affair. My God, like, I'm just gonna put a screenshot here of Nicole Kidman and Zac Efron. Why do they look like bad wax sculptures? Like, what? I mean, I know they had plastic surgery too, but like, when you see them in other movies, it's not as noticeable. But it's the fucking lighting, and it's like, the people who make these Netflix movies, they're like TV directors. Like, they have like no sense of like cinematography and like how to light something and create mood and tone or anything like that. It's like scary. And then the story itself is so stupid. Like, Nicole Kidman has a daughter with Joey King, who the daughter hates her, but Nicole Kidman has this affair with a younger man played by Zac Efron. The movie, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Everything that happens in it is so bad, and it's just like a terrible movie. It's such a waste of time. You really have no idea how bad this fucking movie is. It is one of the worst romantic comedies I've seen since like Ghosted, something like that. It did remind me of Ghosted. It's not as like funny bad as Ghosted. Like Ghosted, I remember that movie's like, it has funny shit, like how bad it is. This one is just bad. What is this poster? Seriously, like, what am I supposed to get out of that? He doesn't tell. He doesn't tell what? He doesn't tell you that the movie's a fucking turd. So speaking of Joey King, Uglies. This is based on a 2005 young adult novel written by Scott Westerfield. It is set in a futuristic society where everyone is considered ugly. And ugly, like, they don't call you, you're an ugly. So you're an ugly until you get turned into a pretty. That's what the story is. So when you're an ugly, you basically just look like a normal person. Like, you look like normal. Like, you don't look ugly. You look like a normal person. And then when you're a pretty, you have this Snapchat filter over your face in this movie, and it makes your face look all glowy. It's like, so, you know, it's this movie about, like, you know, this society that's oppressive, about beauty standards and all this, like, shit. And, like, Joey King is like, oh, I want to be pretty so bad, because she's an ugly, and she's waiting for her surgery because she has to wait until she turns, like, a certain age or whatever. So it's, like, counting down to, you know, when she's going to get the surgery on her birthday, and the thing over the monitor is like, 5 months until you're pretty. Quite possibly the stupidest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. No subtlety at all. It's made for just like someone with no brain cells in their brain. Like to just like, oh, it's about how beauty isn't on the outside, it's on the inside. And Joey King in this movie is so bad. She is so bad. Oh, fuck. So now we're like at the very bottom. Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver. I just think this film is terrible. It looks terrible. Zack Snyder cannot tell a story at all. He wants to make an epic action film, but he doesn't have the material. He hasn't put in the time to craft a world that is interesting. And so he just takes from all these other things, Star Wars and Dune and whatever, and it's like, I'm gonna make my own thing out of it, but it's like so transparent. And the most important thing, because that's not even a problem necessarily, But it's so boring. It's so dull because you don't care about anything that's fucking happening. None of the characters, nothing. And like people want to shit on Star Wars or they shit on Marvel and they're like Zack Snyder's amazing. But like Marvel, you fucking care about those characters. Like how many times do I have to say this shit? And like Zack Snyder, he doesn't care about characters. To him, characters are props. They're just things to make the shot look nice. And they aren't things with emotions. Like he has no empathy for the characters in his films, and that's why they're all bad films. Like, does anyone remember Sucker Punch? Like, this guy, he's a pretentious director. I'm so sick of him being fucking idolized. He drove DC right off a fucking cliff with those movies he made, Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. Those were terrible. I rewatched Captain America Winter Soldier recently for fun, just like on a whim, because I was late at night and I wanted to watch a movie and enjoy myself. I would never do that for Batman vs. Superman in a million years. Like, I would never put on Batman vs. Superman for fun. I would watch Batman for Superman again to make, like, a video shitting on it again or whatever. He makes these 5-hour-long fucking movies. Like, how the fuck can anyone even watch them? They're so long and drawn out. Like, what about this needs to be 5 hours long? And why does it need 2 extended cuts? It's just crap. And so, the bottom of my list, a lot of you know what this is gonna be. I'm gonna put Emilia Perez at the bottom as one of the worst films. Actually, the worst film of 2024. Wow. This movie is fucking horrible. One of the worst films, if not the worst film to ever be considered for the Academy Awards. It's amazing for me to witness history and actually see that live. That's quite fantastic, actually. This film is insensitive, it's pointless, it has terrible music, horrible acting from everyone, especially, like, you know, Carlos Sofia Gascon, but even Selena Gomez in this film. I didn't mention much in my review, but Selena Gomez is bad in this movie. She is really bad. And the fact that, like, this movie was considered for awards at all should really just show you how ridiculous and dated awards bodies are. Yay, we did it. That's it. That's the best of the year, best of 2024. Trust me and my list, because I watched all these movies so I could give you a good gauge of the year, and so I can just honestly express what I think are the best films of the year. So thank you for sharing this with me. Celebrate with a little champagne. Pour a little champagne here. Here's to another great year of films. And yeah. Now, fuck off till next year. And just one last reminder to pick up a movie candle when you can. To me, it isn't just a candle, it's an experience. You get to experience the sense of your favorite films. It's very immersive, and I hope you check them out.